Now it's time for some brand new adventures in Disneyland. And the first of these will be the launching of Walt Disney's new submarine fleet, which incidentally is the 8th largest subfleet in the world. But there's a story behind that, as there is with most of the things that Walt does. So let's see how it started.
In 1868, Jules Verne conceived an undersea craft powered by a substance beyond the wildest dreams of science, an atomic submarine called the Nautilus. The thought that men might explore the underwater world came to him long before this fact was to be accomplished. In light of recent achievements, we realize the prophetic vision of this most imaginative of all writers. For what was then looked upon as fantastic fiction, it is now true fact. The world's first atomic submarine, the namesake of Jules Verne's Nautilus, was launched by the United States Navy a century after he wrote 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Its most noteworthy achievement in the interests of science took place when the USS Nautilus cruised 2,000 miles under a canopy of ice to the North Pole. With the development of the atomic submarine, the vast unexplored ocean depths present a new, exciting frontier.
Now it's time for the dedication of the Disneyland submarine fleet. And here's Walt Disney.
I'd like to introduce our honored guest, Admiral Charles C. Kirkpatrick of the United States Navy.
Thank you, Walt. I'm delighted to be here for this happy occasion.
Well, Admiral, as this seems to be a nautical affair, I think it'd be appropriate if you take over, sir.
I'd be most happy to do so, Walt. As a matter of fact, the Navy has been interested in some time in the proceedings that go here today, and we have considerable rooting interest in Disneyland's peacetime submarine fleet. Since the launching of the first nuclear-powered submarine, the Nautilus, the Navy also has been interested in a new concept. We call it the exploration of liquid space. Then, too, we believe that the underseas of the world have great potential for peace and for the benefit of all mankind. But even more important than these particular resources under the seas could be the exploration, which perhaps can be accomplished by submarines. But even more important than the submarines themselves are the men. Over a century ago, Jules Verne wrote, "Out of the minds of men can come things that other men can do." I'd like to produce for you today one of these men, a man who does what other men can imagine. Chief Machinist Mate Stuart Nelson of the nuclear-powered submarine USS Nautilus, officially commended for outstanding leadership, technical competence, and devotion to duty in the first transpolar cruise in history under the sea by submarine. Chief Nelson.
Well, thank you very much, Admiral. I'd like you to introduce my family to you, sir.
Good to meet you.
Nelson family.
Hello, Miss Nelson.
How do you do, Mrs. Nelson?
Good to see you. Hello, boys.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine.
Walt, this is a real Navy family. I don't believe that you could put the christening of a ship in better hands or in better company.
Right
There
you are, Admiral. And Mrs. Nelson, will you honor us by christening the first submarine?
Thank you, Mr. Disney.
I'll lead the way.
I christen thee Nautilus.
That was a good job.
the sub's been loaded and is now going out for its maiden voyage after the official dedication. And now let's see what our Halimore underwater camera is picking up below the surface. Wasn't that something? And how about that submarine ride? I tell you, there'll be lots of youngsters whose dreams come true on that one. And you know, that's the way it is all summer long. We parents can actually see our youngsters' vacation dreams come true. There's just one thing to remember, and it's true wherever you take your children. If you want to make the most of your good times together, don't forget your camera. Because when you see your youngsters' dreams come true, you'll never forgive yourself if you don't take lots of pictures. Childhood is so short. I often think our children don't really belong to us. We just sort of borrow them for a while. Golly, it seems like only yesterday my own kids were about the size of these two. But you can make the childhood last for years to come if you take plenty of pictures. And you know it's so easy to do? Just get yourself a Brownie Star camera. You'll see what I mean. Why, this Starmatic model actually adjusts its own lens automatically. You can shoot a picture in deep shade, and then turn right around and take another in bright sunlight and get just the right exposure time after time automatically. That's wonderful, isn't it? Now, I'd suggest you see all the Brownie Star cameras at your Kodak dealers this week. They cost as little as $5.95, and any one of them would make a wonderful gift. Now, remember, Brownie Star cameras, another good reason to insist on the name Kodak. And now for the ride that I nominate as the most unusual and completely fascinating that I've ever enjoyed. Let's set a course for deeper water and continue our Disneyland submarine adventure.
Dive, dive. Pressure in boat. Straight forward, sir. Very well. Among these coral reefs, you may see some of the strange inhabitants of this undersea world, hiding among the seaweed and weird rock formations. Other creatures are lurking in the depths of mysterious caves, favorite hiding places for octopus, lobster, and moray eels. With the use of our exterior sonar hydrophones, we can actually hear the fish talk.
Salvage operations ahead, sir. Divers to port and starboard.
Very well. Take her down to 350 feet. Use 10-degree down angle. Flood negative. The graveyard of lost ships. Think of all the treasure that must lie in those ancient hulls.
Satellite sub crossing bow, sir.
Proceed with caution. Steer clear of mothership.
Sir, sonar shows polar ice cap dead ahead.
Very well. Continue on course to pole.
Scraping iceberg, sir.
Take her deep. Take her deep. Flood negative.
Flood negative. Aye, aye.
Uh-oh, a giant squid. Giant squid have often been mistaken for sea serpents. Such reports have persisted for centuries, but of course they have no basis in fact. Tall tales of ocean monsters should be classed as fiction, along with the myth of mermaids, a pure flight of fancy belonging to the realm of make-believe. Here, a view into the distant past, the fabulous lost continent of Atlantis. The treasures and grandeur of this ancient civilization are believed to have been submerged centuries ago by the eruption of a gigantic volcano. All ahead, full.
Aye, aye, sir. All ahead, full.
Helmsman, steer clear of those towering columns.
Aye, aye, sir.
Sea Serpent. Captain to crew, man your battle stations. Stand by for action. Clear to surface.
Standing by to surface, sir.
Officer of the deck, make all preparations for entering port.
How about that? Wasn't that everything I promised you?